The startup experience of Endless OS might seem a bit peculiar, since even at live system mode, it asks for an username and password. But then you will find out that even in live mode, Endless OS preserves your changes in the system, so it technically works as a persistent live system and can be used from a pen drive too. Next is the desktop. Instead of what typical modern distros do, that is to get rid of unnecessary icons like we have in Linux Mint, Endless puts the entire application drawer on the desktop, more like smartphone-like experience or a tablet. You can directly start searching and launching apps from here by starting to type on the keyboard. Endless OS is one of the most unusual distros I've ever laid my hands on. Clearly, most of it can be used for educational purposes, but the sheer level of work in animation and creation of characters which can interact in its array of endless application is just mind-blowing. First, let's check their app hack, which not only does give information on Linux system like wise old Saniel right here, talking about extensions, storing the system, command lines, explained in a fun manner, they also have made the effort to teach other things in which case are not related to the Linux systems. Back into Clubhouse, there are other characters like Riley or Estil talking about art, which even has a 3D modeling guide through Blender, or even photography and lenses. Inside Hack News, it's like a small blog where they post updates and information. Next, let's find the system app. This gives us a tour of the system, but not in a regular fashion, where you find out how to navigate through the system, where to find applications, how to access files, but it provides information on the working of a Linux system, like the file system, cursor, memory manager, window manager, and even how the kernel works animated in a similar fashion. We get the same characters here with a deeper understanding of the system in a simpler manner, but at the same time keeping in mind not to overly simplify everything. Even as an average Linux user, I felt interested to go through this page. I think that this can become a potential source of learning whereby kids can have an early learning about Linux. I don't really see this seeping into schools in the near future, since even in my times we were taught Windows 7 when Windows 8.1 was out. But it will be a good start from home. Next, there is Sidetrack installed, which is basically a kind of maze game, and more such applications available in their official store. Not just games, there are learning apps for kids available, and also there are some short movies app available. But there is a catch. All of such apps and games are also marked unsafe in the software category, since they use a legacy windowing system. I guess they have used it to achieve a fair bit of consistency, which I can fail to find in other applications like the Software Center, which is based on GTK4, and other apps like the Nautilus based on GTK3. But coming to that later, inside the software app, the apps are quite entertaining and useful. Like in this case, the Passage or the short film app, which has a collection of animated movies for children. You get a drop-down list to choose your preferred method of installation. All of the apps provided are only a flatpak version. Apt is apparently locked, and I can't install any apt application from the terminal, where I get this message. Tried removing the log file, but it is a read-only file and cannot be modified even with sudo. Then I find out that Endless OS is actually immutable Linux system. Anyway, installation again takes a lot of time for application because I guess for the file size, but I find the installer rolling back and forth to install the application, which I don't find in other distros. Next is Colibre, where a series of channels can be imported to consume educational content. Opening first, you can choose to import content or resources from a specific source. You can also get the option to search for a resource. For example, I'm searching for Khan Academy. Generating the channel list takes forever, so I finally gave up. That's all for the special features of this Linux OS. Now, let's see how it is made. First, I noticed there was a theming disparity, where GTK3 and 4 apps are jumbled up weirdly. So you get like a gedit version, which is 44th version of GNOME. There is calculator based on the 43rd version, software based on 43rd version, file manager or Nautilus based on the 41st version. So different versions of different applications appear to be merged together. But if I see the version of GNOME from settings, it is actually using the 41st version of GNOME. What makes it even worse is that Endless is built around Flatpak technology, and apparently you don't get any access to apt applications. There is a workaround whereby you have to build a Flatpak of the application you need and publish it on FlatHub. It might seem like making sense since this operating system is like mostly meant for students, but I don't really like the fact that it reduces the amount of choices available. Might as well discourage students to randomly copy commands from the internet and paste them in the terminal to mess up everything. Another thing that I find becoming very prominent in modern distros is the removal of Ctrl-Alt-T for the terminal. Well, it can be relinked from the settings page. I guess they want to really streamline everything and let the users choose the hotkeys like in window managers. There are other GNOME apps like Clock, Image Viewer, Document Viewer, Cheese, Screenshot, Brasero, Document Scanner and more. They also provide the option for parental control. The Office alternative provided is the latest version of LibreOffice. If we hop into the terminal to find out the system usage, it is around 18% with OBS screen recording on. Memory has about 1680 MB used and around 5400 MB cached. You can also check the same from the system monitor. Geekbench's score turned out to be very impressive, as always with Linux distros, but nothing new. But yeah, worth mentioning. Last, there are some wallpapers to choose your preferred wallpaper theme. Endless OS does not yet provide any provision for dark mode, so all the applications are in light mode by default. And that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Do like, share and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one.